welcome to Middle Class Film Class. I'm your host, Tyler. Along with me is Joseph and Peter.
Hello.
Hey. This week, the wheel landed on my absolute favorite action movie, Escape from New York.
It's not the future we wanted, but the future that happened. Once a great city, now a high-security prison. Kurt Russell stars as Snake Plissken, Escape from New York. Available now for only $19.95 from New Line Home Video.
All supplies last. That's like $1,000 back then.
Really excited to review this movie with you guys. This is one of my favorite movies ever. So
now's the time for gab and chatter.
That's
yes.
right. That's right. So anyone? I guess I have some news, but personal life wise.
Go ahead. Spill it.
I saw Little Women a few nights ago.
Oh boy.
Ooh. And it's not really a movie that I thought I would see in theaters.
Mm-hmm.
But it's a damn good movie. Like it has a star-studded cast. We got the lead from Lady Bird, and the girl from Midsommar is in it.
The lead from Midsommar.
Yeah.
Florence Pugh.
Florence Pugh.
Who's the girl from Lady Bird again?
Saoirse Ronan.
Saoirse Ronan. Is she the girl from Brooklyn also?
I think so. Yeah.
That was surprisingly good.
Saoirse Ronan.
Laura Dern is in it, who, if you guys remember, is in Jurassic Park
and Wild at Heart.
And Wild at Heart. Yeah, that's right. She was in that.
Sailors.
I guess it's not really news. More, it's just like
it's exciting for you. Was it good?
Yeah, it was good. It was just.
Were you not anticipating it to be good,
or
for you to like it at least?
I was not anticipating to like it, but like the writing and the overall craftiness of the camera work was just really just. Mwah. It was eye candy.
Well, you've seen Lady Bird, right?
No.
Really?
It's worth the watch.
No, I haven't seen. I've heard it was good. I only knew that she was in this movie.
Especially if you live around here, you need to watch it. It's like very seldom.
Very Sacramento-y.
Yeah, it's very seldom a movie set in Sacramento, so it's
all right.
It's nice to see it.
But yeah, so I don't know. I guess that's just maybe not news, but a lightweight recommendation to see Little Women in theaters because it's a really good theater experience. Like the shots are really like wide and colorful.
It's a Jane Austen story, isn't it?
Yes, it is.
So much like
I didn't know that.
Pride and Prejudice.
This movie had a lot to live up to. With the other one coming out, I think in like the 90s or something. I can't remember. I'm not really into Little Women or anything like that. So
you're not into Little Women.
It's Joey's favorite book in Friends.
I'm not really into Friends either.
It's also Mo Sislak's favorite book in The Simpsons.
Is it really?
At the end, they knew they were no longer little girls. They were Little Women.
So yeah, no, it's really good, and the actor chemistry in that movie among the women actors is really strong, and I think this will be another classic.
I've heard polarizing things of that movie. It's good to hear that.
Really? Polarizing.
Yeah, I heard some people didn't.
It's a
like
bit too long.
The non-linear storytelling. Jumped around in seemingly no rhyme or reason.
Well, that's general. That's general audience for you. Like,
I heard a lot of critics were.
Dunkirk has that same criticism.
Really?
Yeah.
Well, yeah. Maybe if you don't have like critical thinking skills, then it might not be
Pulp
enjoyable.
Fiction sucked.
You know,
you can tell what was happening.
The Witcher, the show, also has that kind of problem.
Yeah,
like, at least for me, 'cause I was like, is this a flashback? Because like that guy's dead.
You're gonna trigger Tyler. Hold on.
Well, I'm saying that as a criticism for The Witcher because I had that problem.
It's really extreme in The Witcher though because they do it like hundreds of years in between times.
Yeah.
Oh, he's like 1,000 years old, isn't he?
Or something like that.
Yeah, he's an old bitch.
He's an old bitch.
Hold on.
Wait for it.
We're still experimenting.
There it is.
Oh, don't be such an old bitch!
So yeah, what do you guys?
I got some.
What do you got?
So we've talked a lot, Tyler, Joseph, and I, about how to expand this show, make it better for the listening audience, how to make it more relevant. So we like talking about movies that we're passionate about, but I can completely understand that breaking down 45 minutes worth of talk about a movie that was released in 1981 is not something that necessarily everybody is like jumping at their podcast player of choice to listen to. So we're going to try to make a concerted effort to find movies that are be coming out in their immediate time, and all three of us see it together in theaters or see it separately in theaters and then talk about it on the show in a non-spoiler way, since it's going to be a new release. So we missed Joker. We did this with The Lighthouse when it came out. It ended up being all three of us.
It was really a lightweight with The Lighthouse, though. I could have gone on for like.
Well, yeah, we all could have.
I went and listened to that episode to just kind of learn from what we did back then, and it's fun to listen to. But we've changed a lot and grown a lot, and we think we are a little more comfortable on mic now. So I have a suggestion for a movie that I'm really excited to see coming out. It's going to be, I think it's releasing this month, January 24th. It's called Color Out of Space.
Oh yeah, Mandy 2.
Yeah, people are calling it Mandy 2.
Mandy 2 Electric Boogaloo.
It's written. It's a
It's Richard Stanley.
H.P. Lovecraft story, directed by Richard Stanley, starring Nicolas Cage, Koryana Kilcher from A New World, and Richard Stanley was most notably from. I don't really see any of his stuff that I've noticed. Hardware, The Island. Island of Dr. Moreau.
Oh.
No, Island of Dr. Moreau, not The Island.
Not The
my bad.
Island.
Dust
Michael Bay.
Devil.
Not that one.
Do you know Richard
Not
Stanley?
with Ewan McGregor.
Joseph?
I have not seen Hardware, but I do have it.
You have.
I have it in a digital version. I just have not watched it.
Well, the synopsis of Color Out of Space is, let's see here. A town is struck by a meteorite and the fallout is catastrophic. Very vague, but it's if you look at the trailers for it, it seems like something that's going to be very kind of a mind
very
Annihilation.
Yeah, based on that description, it just sounds like Annihilation. And then if you watch the trailer, it looks like Annihilation mixed with Mandy.
Yeah, if you guys haven't seen Mandy, it's like a psychedelic.
Except with more Nick Cage.
Yeah, plus Nick Cage.
Yeah, and I think he's playing a more toned down version of himself from Mandy, because Mandy, he was bananas. But I think that would be a fun one to go see together. Seems like something that would be up our alley, and then report back to the listening audience and tell them what they think. So
yeah, for sure.
When we do one of these episodes, the plan is we'll forego our streaming picks and we'll talk about a movie in theaters that we can either say it's worth your money, go out and see it with some friends, go out and see it with a passionate movie friends, or your grandma, or just completely skip it because it did not. If we went and saw Cats together, we'd probably say spend 20 minutes talking about how ridiculous it is, and then skip it. It's it lives up to the anti-hype. So, but anyway, so that's something that I think I'm really excited about.
Yeah.
Yep. So what about you, Joseph? What do you got?
I don't have anything movie related. The Golden Globes are on tonight, but this episode will be released after, so we have no idea who has won. But praise be to The Lighthouse for winning all the categories it wasn't nominated for.
Because 0 nominations, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, yeah.
Hopefully the Oscars
it's
will...
January. It's really a slow month for movie, like for any movie really in January. It's kind of like a graveyard it's like a dumping ground of corporate like shit. Yeah. They're just like, oh, here's Doolittle, here's a Bad Boys remake.
Well, it's gonna be 11 months till the nominations come out for the Oscars of next year, so theater or studios know that there's gonna be a short memory span. They're gonna take their worst stuff and kind of drop it in January, February.
That's the cycle of movies, though.
It is.
There's a season.
Yep.
There's a season of movies.
'Tis the season for shit movies like the Grudge remake.
Oh boy. Yeah, I got I think The Grudge was the 20th movie to receive an F rating from cinemascore.com.
Remake?
Yeah, the
There's
remake.
only 20 of them.
There's only 20 of them. Yeah, and I've never really, I mean,
What
I
an
don't-
honor.
I know. I don't really know much about CinemaScore or anything like that, but it was
Probably really hard to get a failing grade if there's only 20 movies on the failing grade rank.
yeah,
Like
yeah.
that's just unfortunate. I did hear bad things about it though, and I don't know why. I think Sam Raimi is partly to blame
Oh, he produced
for
it,
all
right?
of this. Yeah.
Really?
Yeah,
Yeah.
because
Oh, no.
they
Sam
made
Raimi should be
yeah,
good,
it's like,
man.
oh, Sam Raimi, he directed The Evil Dead. Remember that movie
He also
40
directed
years ago?
Spider-Man 3.
And from
And
Hell,
two.
and 2 and 1.
Spider-Man 1 was
some
the
decent-
best one.
Some decent ones.
Eh.
Speaking of Spider-Man 1, not Escape from New York, but Escape from L.A., which I watched after Escape from New York.
Oh, you watched the
The
nice.
president of the United States is played by Uncle Ben.
Yep.
He looked so wholesome in Spider-Man. He looked like such a dickhead in Escape from L.A.
Tyler, I just want to tell you that I got here and while Pete was watching it, and I don't know what part of the movie I got in at.
In Escape LA?
At what point I was
Yeah.
in. I watched till the end. But I'm sad that you didn't put Escape from LA on the wheel instead of Escape from New York.
I wanted
Very quickly seemed like the better movie.
Yeah, Escape from LA is, I don't know, I guess it's the better movie, but Escape from New York is always going to be a special place in my heart. And with that said, what are you guys' streaming picks this week?
Well, before we do that, I
What?
just pulled up an article.
Oh.
The other 19 movies that
Oh, shit.
that have an F
There's
rating.
The other 19.
CinemaScore.
So just run through them real quickly.
Okay,
Yeah.
Alone in the Dark, 2005. The Box, 2009 with
Ooh.
Cameron Diaz.
Ah.
Bug, really? I love Bug.
Wait, Michael Shannon bug?
Yeah, Michael
Oh.
Shannon and what's her Ashley
What?
Judd.
That's
Yeah,
crazy.
2006. Well, fuck
Um,
CinemaScore.
Damn.
Wow.
It invalidated the whole.
Darkness, 2004. Never heard of it. The
Oh.
Devil Inside, 2012. Disaster movie. That sounds.
Oh, yeah,
well
that one
deserved.
was.
That's a
bad.
parody movie.
Yeah. Dr. T and the Women,
What?
2000. Never heard of that
Is that
one.
Mr. T playing a doctor?
Eye of the Beholder with Ewan McGregor.
What?
Fear.com, 2002.
Oh, I remember that movie.
Oh, yeah.
There's like a lot of horror movies on here that CinemaScore.
Well, I
doesn't
mean,
like.
yeah, you can put you could put like 90% of horror movies that are straight to video.
You could put most of the.
It has to be released in video or on theaters.
Oh,
too.
in
Oh,
theaters.
okay.
Oh, okay.
I Know Who Killed Me, Lindsay Lohan movie, 2007.
Oh, I know
I
that
watched
one.
3/4 of that. It was bad. It was really
I
bad.
remember that.
In the Cut, 2003.
With Meg Ryan.
Let's see. who's
That's
in
the one with
this.
Meg Ryan, right?
Yeah,
In
Meg
the
Ryan,
Cut.
Nicole Kidman. Seeing America's Sweetheart, Meg Ryan fully nude was too much for some people.
Oh my God, Meg Ryan from.
No,
You got mail.
Killing Them Softly with Brad Pitt. That wasn't terrible.
What?
The
I never saw that. but-
Lost Souls 2000 with Winona Ryder. Lucky Numbers 2000 with Lisa Kudrow and John Travolta.
What?
Oh my gosh, are you serious? Mother 2017.
Wow.
What? Okay.
Yeah.
All
okay.
right. Come
Well,
on.
Maybe
There's some
maybe the
questionable
Grudge
things.
remake wasn't so bad. Silent House 2012, Solaris 2002,
The remake?
What?
With George Clooney?
Wicker Man 2006,
Wow.
Wolf Creek 2005. That was pretty crazy. And
That
that's it.
movie wasn't that bad.
Which one,
Art.
Solaris or Wicker Man?
Wolf Creek.
Oh, Wolf
Is that
Creek.
the college killer?
Yeah.
Yeah.
With the guy with the ski mask.
Yeah.
Okay, so yeah, it wasn't
No,
the
Return
great,
to
but-
Wolf Creek was better than Wolf Creek. I think that's what it was. The sequel to Wolf Creek.
Oh.
That one was actually pretty good. Wolf Creek. I
I was gonna
didn't see
say, I
it
was just
personally.
like, well, I know one of those movies. It wasn't that bad.
Just like Blood Fart Lake was pretty shitty.
Return to Blood.
And
Blood
Return to
Fart Lake.
Blood Fart Lake was really good. That's why it's streaming on Amazon. All right, sorry to step on your streaming picks.
Streaming pick time.
No, we're stepping all over them right now.
You want to go, Joe?
Yeah, Joseph, what's your streaming pick for this week?
So I
for our
watched.
listeners?
Me and Deanna watched the fuck out of this.
Oh yeah, you
Oh
were
shit,
excited
I
about
forgot.
this.
Yeah, you're.
It was. So it is a documentary series on Netflix. 3 parts, 1 hour each, 3 hours total.
I think I know what it is.
Called "Don't Fuck with Cats:
Yes,
Hunting an
What?
Internet Killer."
I heard really good things.
It is mind blowing. This documentary.
Does that have anything to do with cats?
It does. So
Oh,
here's the synopsis. A group of online justice seekers track down a guy who posted a video of him killing kittens. So the movie starts with a guy who he's like wearing a hoodie. He's like in some shitty apartment bedroom, and he posts a video of him with these 2 kittens, and
It's titled like 2 Cats, 1 Guy.
yeah, 2 kittens, 1 boy, or whatever. And
Like 2 girls, 1 cup.
yeah, and so he puts the cats in a bag and he suffocates them. They don't show it. They show a lot of the video, but they don't show that part of the video. But that's just like the beginning, and then it just gets worse from there. Because
Dude, that's dark.
yeah, it is
For the people who don't want to see a cat get killed on camera, that was the big question that like Bree had when we were debating watching this movie.
Mm-hmm.
Is it safe to go into this docuseries?
How
far does it go?
It's on the line. It's on the line.
Gives you enough to feel.
It
You
do-
can
it-
see the panic in the animals' reaction, probably.
Kind of.
Like, I mean, just going in there,
It's a
knowing
really
what
shitty
it's
quality videos, and the
still-
way it's edited, they cut away if it just in time. But there's this disclaimer: they do show the dead kittens afterwards,
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
and like they're like all rigor mortis. And there's not like it's not like bloody or anything.
No,
It's a
it's
dead-
just
it's a
dead
dead
animals.
It's a dead animal.
Yeah.
Um,
So what's the repercussions of this? Where does it go with this?
So there's these group of there's like a Facebook group that forms of these people who want to find out the identity of this guy, and
Beat them up.
it's crazy internet like
justice,
justice.
snooping.
Yeah, snooping, stalking, but it's like for a good reason.
I'm like about to tell you what happens at the end. Does this guy get what is coming to him?
well,
It's like when.
But I don't want to
4chan
know though.
It's like when 4chan unites and finds a pedophile.
I actually
Yeah.
thought I was watching like a fictional movie just
Really?
based on
Oh,
what happens
shit.
because
That's
it's
cool.
it's so crazy. Just like what like goes through it seems so like planned out and organized, like from the criminal's perspective.
Dude, people are passionate about cats.
I know, and so the whole concept of the beginning of the documentary is they talk about Rule 0 on
the internet.
on the internet, which is don't fuck with cats, and that's like the basis of the
I think that.
of the documentary.
Yeah, I think that's a pretty universal recognized rule.
Yeah,
People talk about 4chan, how it's this terrible place full of terrible people and child molesters and all this stuff. But every once in a while, someone will post a video of them committing some sort of heinous act against an animal, and it's
Mhm.
like within days or
minutes.
weeks, they'll find clues from the video and
Yeah.
find this guy, and this is essentially that, right?
yeah. So I don't know if you guys remember that Shia LaBeouf, and like he live streamed like the sky, and then he was tracked down by internet.
Yeah,
Because they were able to calculate like a flight going overhead.
Are you kidding me? No,
Yeah,
I've
I
never
vaguely
seen that
remember that.
before.
So yeah, there was like I can't remember the exact story, but it's basically that like the amount of information that's in a video, like you might not think is a lot, but people are able to figure shit
just
out.
these internet sleuths.
Yeah, basically that's how they're described, and it's literally just them, like just these regular people. Like one of them is like she works at a casino in Vegas, and they just form a Facebook group. They become like it gets bigger and bigger, and then they get tracked down like this TV show of bikers for animal rescue,
Mhm.
and they help out, and that garners a big following. Yeah, it gets crazier. It's crazy. It just gets.
And how long is it?
3 episodes,
About an hour
each
each.
an hour long. And me and Deanna watched it all in one night.
Damn.
It's very engaging and
Well,
it's very
be-
disturbing.
So be ready to watch 3 hours worth of footage.
yeah,
That's
I heard it's hard to stop watching that.
it is hard to stop watching it.
Exciting.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
on Netflix. Very good, very very good.
Well, my pick is also Netflix as well. It's not an unknown. It's not anything new. It's just a good movie. I feel like probably didn't get as big of a following when it first came out. This is a 2002 release, Catch Me If You Can, with Leonardo DiCaprio and Tom Hanks.
That also pertains to
Oh.
Don't Fuck with Cats.
Does it really?
It's related.
Really?
Really?
It is.
Ah,
Wow.
A happy coincidence.
It-
Leonardo
it's-
DiCaprio is like spearheading.
Like
this.
the documentary is very much.
Catch Me If You Can.
Really?
It's yeah. It's
It's
literally
almost like he's like a game of cat and mouse.
yeah. It's literally related.
That's
Wow.
cool. Wow. Oh, exciting.
Yeah.
So the synopsis of this movie, if you haven't heard of it, is an FBI agent makes it his mission to put a cunning con man, Frank Abagnale Jr., behind bars. But Frank not only eludes capture, he revels in the pursuit. This is so fun. This movie is so fun. I loved it when I first saw it. I've probably rewatched it 3 or 4 times since. It's always so fun. There's really not a whole lot of bad to say about it.
It's really engaging.
Yeah.
Like it's just
And you see the rise and fall
exciting.
and the excitement of Leonardo DiCaprio when he's in he's eluding everything and his capture, and he's on top of the world, and he finds love, and then it's all crashing down, and Christopher Walken plays his dad, who has a heartbreaking role in it too. It's so good, so good.
Who directed that?
I want to say Spielberg.
I wanted to say that too.
Let's see here. Yep, directed by Steven Spielberg.
Okay.
Tom Hanks, Christopher Walken, Martin Sheen, Natalie Bay, Amy Adams, James Brolin, Brian Howe.
James Brolin.
It's just like the perfect chemistry for a big budgeted,
It's a
exciting
big
Spielberg
cast,
movie.
big, literally like
Great
they're traveling
cast.
everywhere.
It's all over the place. He plays he impersonates a pilot. He's doing check fraud. He has a high-end escort he's writing fake checks to. I mean, he pretends to be a doctor.
Yeah.
There's a great line that many people quote many times, which is, "Do you concur?"
Oh yes,
Doctor. Do you concur? Well, it's really, really well done.
It's kind of like the style of the movie, and like because it's funny and it's kind of actiony, kind of. It's almost like a League of Their Own is a comedy. Like this is a comedy too.
Yeah, it's like a clever comedy. The scenarios that they're in are clever and engaging. But the characters are really worth you care about them as they.
It's like a comedy thriller.
It's like a funner version of Matchstick Men, but without the chase and the world travel.
Isn't Nick Cage in that too?
Yeah, he is, and or Sam Rockwell.
Oh yeah, Val Kilmer.
I don't think so.
You're thinking of a different.
You're thinking of Willow.
Yep. Oh yeah.
You're thinking.
You're thinking of Willard
Oh,
with Crispin Glover.
Crispin Glover.
Crispin Glover.
Donald Glover is Crispin Glover's illegitimate son.
Yeah, that's true. Everybody knows this. Well, Donald Glover was, wasn't he adopted or something like that?
Donald Glover?
Yeah, Donald Glover.
He's
He's adopted by Crispin Glover's niece.
Oh yeah.
You heard it here first.
Donald Glover.
Exclusive.
All right, Tyler.
So my streaming pick is The Mandalorian.
Really?
Yes.
I haven't seen
on streaming on Disney Plus, obviously. I had a lot of reservations on making this my streaming pick, mostly because of it only being on Disney Plus. But
Joseph, what was your streaming pick a while ago that was Disney Plus? I remember it came up and
A Christmas Carol.
yes.
Muppets Christmas Carol.
Muppet
Yeah.
Christmas Carol. Yeah. So Tyler, for people who are living under a rock or are not on social media, what is The Mandalorian?
So
Definitely listen to the list.
So The Mandalorian stars this bounty hunter who he practices the creed of Mandaloria.
Is it Boba Fett?
No, it's not Boba Fett. It's a little bit complicated. You'll have to. The problem I have with The Mandalorian is that like
You already got a problem with it?
what? Here's the problem I have with it is because not a lot of people know what a Mandalorian is, and like they do really well in the show to kind of explain what it is.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
But when you're trying to say it to someone else, like, oh, what's the Mandalorian about? Oh, well, I mean, essentially, it's just about a bounty hunter, but there's just so much like context to what the lore of Star Wars is. It's kind of, I don't know, it might be a little bit too much for a casual viewer, but it's a really good Western.
So if you've
show.
never seen any Star Wars movies, you shouldn't watch this.
Oh no, it's good. It's good. It's just to appreciate what they're presenting to you that you may not know about Star Wars. Like, yeah, like it. Like as far as it being a good show, it's a good show. Like it's action packed. It has really good acting. Baby Yoda is actually really adorable.
Yeah, I don't have to watch the show to know that though.
Well, but in the show, like if you're watching the show, like it's like.
Did you watch the whole thing?
Yeah. There's 8 chapters, about 40 minutes long. It's
Get away with words, Tommy.
Love your description.
Mandalorian, it's about a bounty hunter who finds this baby Yoda. They're calling it a baby Yoda because there's no name.
There's no species.
Yeah, I mean, you can call it the asset, but like that's a really...
Is it the child?
Asset.
Yeah, the asset
I just
child.
call it
I thought-
BB.
I thought it was referred to as the child.
PB. It is for... It jumps, like, it depends on who's asking. Like the
Or
bounty
as
hunter.
Jason Sudeikis names him, it's a pet.
The pet, yeah.
Jason Sudeikis is the guy who punches Baby Yoda.
Is it really?
Yeah, it is.
I thought I recognized him.
Is it? He's one of the stormtroopers.
Yeah.
Is he,
Yeah,
are
he's
they
one of...
stormtroopers?
Yeah, they're stormtroopers.
They're like the ones who ride the...
the speeder bikes.
Yeah.
Oh, okay, cool.
It's a pretty solid show. It's really entertaining. You have to really not expect much though, because there's a lot of questionable decisions done in this show that you're like, what the fuck?
Really?
Why do they do that? But
within
it's
the show.
but it's entertaining, right?
But it's entertaining though. Some of the shots are great. Like there's no overacting. There's no it's not fan servicey. It's just a straight spaghetti western in space.
That's cool.
Yeah,
Really good.
I've heard that description of it.
I dig that.
Yeah, so I'm really excited where they go next. John Favreau is the Favreau. He directed a few episodes, but then he let other people direct the later chapters. But he was always the writer. He always had a writer credit at the end, and he's the one who did
Iron
the
Man 1.
Avengers.
Yeah.
Iron Man.
Iron Man
Jungle
1.
Book.
hmm I mean, they're solid movies as far as
It was good.
Elf.
as
yeah,
far
he did do Elf.
as far as being good movies without
Chef.
overstepping the boundaries. It
in
didn't
Chef.
push the envelope. Didn't push the envelope in any way, but it
Swingers.
also didn't, go
Tomcats.
over boundaries where you're like, oh my god, why is Leia floating in space?
She's Supermaning back to
So
the
how does
Yeah.
it does, what do you think about it in terms of it relating to the rest of the Star Wars?
I think it's great because any time that they show Star Wars with the Force being very rare in people's minds, there was only one person in that show who's just like, oh yeah, there was this one thing called a Jedi, I think it was called. It's called and it was, they were just trying to recollect a legend that they have forgotten about the Force. And I love that though, because I think it's more impactful when you see the Force in action. So it's not Force heavy, it's not Jedi heavy. It's just about a bounty hunter, in his
And it
ways.
takes place 5 years after Return of the Jedi, right?
I think so. It was 5 or 10,
Because
right?
Yoda's dead.
Yeah, he's long gone.
He's
Spoiler alert.
reincarnated
Yoda
as
dies.
the asset.
Well, I don't know about reincarnated, but he was slapping some Yoda cheeks somewhere in Dagobah.
Well, there is a female
You're
Yoda.
drunk.
There's a female Yoda called
Really?
Yaddle,
Yaddle?
Yeah, Yaddle and Yoda, they were...
because she's in she's in she's in the prequels.
Yep,
Yeah.
she is. She was
What?
in...
She's on the council.
Yep, she was in... I think she makes an appearance in Attack of the Clones.
Yeah.
But anyways, it doesn't matter. As
Check
far
the
as...
tape for that.
As far as Star Wars goes, it's solid. It's
You mean
what...
the Mandalorian?
No, I mean as far as it being in the Star Wars universe
gotcha.
goes, it's what I want in Star Wars.
Oh my god, that's hideous.
Just showed a picture of Yaddle to
Oh,
Pete.
Yeah,
I don't like that
It's
at
like
all.
E.T. and Yoda.
That's exactly what I was thinking. Look at the leg. Look at the bird hooks on that thing. Ugh.
It's like a gremlin, E.T. and Yoda.
Ew.
Like derpy.
yeah.
Yeah.
You're drunk.
She's drunk. Look at her. She looks like Willem Dafoe.
Oh my god.
Oh,
You're fond of me, lobster.
That's what she's saying right there.
poor Willem.
Ugh.
Yeah. So The Mandalorian. Check it out. It's on Disney Plus.
Yeah,
so
sorry, Willem.
It does.
I know. Look at it. It's
God.
got
It's got
Liam
hair.
Neeson's hair from episode 1.
Oh yeah, Qui-Gon.
Yeah, Qui-Gon.
Yeah, Mandalorian, check it out. It's on streaming on Disney Plus. All the chapters are up there now, so just watch them all one by one.
All right, cool.
Cool.
So let's get into Escape from New York.
Yes,
Call me Snake.
we got some Escape from New York drops on the board tonight.
So, listeners, Escape from New York is a movie released in 1981 starring Kurt Russell, directed by one of my favorite directors, John Carpenter, coming in hot off of Halloween fame.
This was after Halloween 1, the first one?
Yep. Yeah, this
Oh,
was
yeah.
after Halloween 1.
Starring Tom Atkins, star of Halloween 3.
Yep. Yeah, there's a lot of John Carpenter circle jerk trivia facts in this movie.
John Carpenter didn't direct Halloween 3.
No, he didn't. Well, did he?
No.
No, he didn't. Yeah. So Escape from New York is the movie is based in 1997, and the U.S. president crashes onto a statewide prison world.
Citywide.
Is it citywide?
Manhattan.
It's the city of New York, but they say that in the intro, they say the city of New York, but then it really is just Manhattan.
Yeah, so Manhattan is
Because it's an island.
Yeah.
Manhattan is a prison.
And they have mines on all of the bridges, helicopters patrolling.
Premise of Bane taking over Gotham.
Yeah,
in Dark
exactly.
Knight Rises.
Yeah, pretty much.
And so
Christopher Nolan basically stole from John Carpenter, is what we're saying.
Yeah.
Bastard. Still love you.
So President is on his way to a summit to reveal his discovery of nuclear fusion, and he crashes.
I got a problem with that, by the way. We'll talk about that later.
Okay. So he crashes into this island prison, and they hire Snake Plissken to rescue him.
And who is Snake Plissken?
Kurt Russell.
But yeah, who is he in the movie, though?
Who is he in the movie?
He's
Well,
like a notorious army hero / criminal.
yeah. So he
So apparently everybody heard that he was dead.
yes,
And everybody knows who he is.
he's a World War III vet,
Oh shit.
and that's
Is
actually
that from
true.
that's from canon?
Yeah, he's a World War III vet who dropped out of the special forces. He robbed the federal.
Yeah, I love that. He robbed the Federal Reserve.
Yeah,
and
the
got a
Federal
lifetime
Reserve.
sentence.
Yeah, got a lifetime sentence. Presumed dead.
That sounds like something that like a little kid would add into the plot. He robbed the biggest bank in the world, and they put him in jail for life.
And so his mission, they get him, and his mission is to rescue the president that has crash landed due to a I don't know, like a rebel group taking over Air Force One.
What was it called? They had a name.
David 14. That was the code name.
That was a code name for the plane, though. Not.
I'm
the,
saying for the Rebel Alliance.
the
What-
National Liberation Front.
Yeah, that's
The
what it was.
National Liberation Front.
And he has a red escape pod.
It's like a little pod.
Little
Which
red
was actually
egg.
just reminded me of the Baby Yoda pod.
Oh,
When I saw that, I thought I was like, oh, hey,
John
Baby Yoda.
Favreau is taking
I love that this movie is released in 1981, set in 1997, in 6 years. So 16 years has not been very kind to America. The 70s must have been really a dark time.
Well, actually, this movie was written during the Watergate scandal. John Carpenter written it, and he or wrote it, I should say, and he presented it, and they were like, "Oh, it's too dark. That's just way too dark for right now."
okay.
And so he made Halloween 1,
Oh, I see.
and
Yeah.
then after Halloween 1, they're like,
Uplifting Halloween 1.
yeah, after Halloween 1, they were like, "Oh my God, here's $5 million. Like, make Escape from New York now."
Oh, okay.
And so
It is a little dark. Within 2 minutes into the movie, 2 people are dead via tomahawk missile being shot at their raft as they try to float across the river.
Oh yeah, it's so the idea is because of the Watergate scandal happening, there was a lot of distrust in the government. So John Carpenter, he wanted to have like 2 very different moods of the movie. One where the government is like really high tech, neon fascist looking, and the prison island being like really dark and dirty and like post apocalyptic.
Yeah.
So so we start off with Snake, our hero, being arrested, going into this secret military base in a famous brown leather jacket and tank top.
There's the first reveal you see of him walking by himself. Well, it's him and his commander or whatever. They're walking down the hallway, but you get the full view of his outfit, and he's wearing a sleeveless polyester workout shirt, all black with gray and black camo stretch pants, and then as he's putting on his brown leather jacket, is very cartoon character-esque.
It's so
badass. Is the John Carpenter's goal, was it to make him a comically tough guy? Was that the goal?
Actually, well, it was a collaboration between Kurt Russell and John Carpenter.
So was it to be like almost over the top with like the gruffness and the
it was supposed
snake?
It was supposed to be just
Call
like
me Snake.
It's a response to everything.
It was supposed to be just really matter of fact, very superficial almost, and just in my opinion, this was one of the best action movies in the 80s that was released.
How do you think Snake Plissken holds up to like Arnold Schwarzenegger
or Rambo?
I think it's
Terminator. Well, it's Arnold Schwarzenegger.
I think it's different because Snake is a more realistic version of those guys. So like Arnold and Rambo, like they're like
superheroes.
They're like really like invincible guys, but you see Snake getting hurt all the time, and you see him struggling, and see him being outwitted by like his government handlers. So
that's interesting.
I think it's a bit more different. I think what sets him apart from other 80s action heroes is that one, he's not that buff. Like he's just kind of like a medium-sized build.
He's an otter.
And
as we call him in the gay community.
An otter.
Medium-sized build, you know, like
a little hairy, kind of slippery.
He's this crazy looking character in like a normal like setting almost.
That's interesting that you say that, because like Arnold Schwarzenegger in Predator or Sylvester Stallone in Rambo, they look like normal guys in that scenario. But
they look like beefcakes.
I know they're hella buff, right? But I mean, Arnold Schwarzenegger's a bodybuilder, and then Rambo was in Rocky, and then we have Kurt Russell, but he like his outfit, the eye patch, the muscle shirt, and
he's like it's like a comic book character.
It's so funny that like but his situation is like almost everything that happens to him is realistic. He like you were saying, he struggles, and it's like he's not a perfect person, even though a lot of action scenes where it shows him like he's unbeatable.
Yeah. So Snake, I think what sets him apart is that he's iconic rather than being like this heroic buff guy like the Body Ventura and Sylvester Stallone, Arnold Schwarzenegger, even maybe to a lesser extent Carl Weathers
or Chuck Norris too.
Chuck Norris, yeah, like he's like not a part of that like group.
He reminds me of a cooler, more badass version of like Charles Bronson.
Yeah, you know, actually,
like
strangely, they wanted
Yeah.
Charles Bronson to be Snake.
What?
Yeah, they wanted Charles
Way too
Bronson to
old.
be Snake.
What?
Yeah, to be Snake, and no.
I think that Snake Plissken's popularity in pop culture has at least something to do with how often they say his name in the movie.
Call me Snake.
Yeah, because every time someone sees him, Snake Plissken, I thought
Call me Snake.
you were dead, and it's like, how often do they say John Rambo?
Yeah,
Rambo. They never do. They're like, or in Terminator or Predator. They don't. I don't.
What's
even know.
Schwarzenegger's name in Predator?
I couldn't tell you.
It's
I know his friend's name, Dylan.
you son of a bitch.
You son of a bitch.
But yeah, that's what I mean. It's just like you can remember Snake's name, you remember his face, but he's not like this like oiled up beefcake.
it was to me was like it was like prime camp 80s. Like
So what do you? So actually, this brings me to a question that I wanted to ask you about, guys.
Okay.
What did you think this was a good movie or a legitimately good movie,
like
A bad. Good
what are my two
movie?
options? So can I
You mean
have
a
a third
good
option?
a good bad movie?
or a good bad movie? Sorry,
Good bad
Yeah,
movie?
good bad movie.
That's a tough one. I feel like it could have used a lot more like energy in it. Like it's almost
Yeah.
like there was a lot of scenes where he's just kind of like jogging through the streets and like looking at people, and he's like, oh, I'm gonna avoid that. Oh, I'm gonna go down this manhole cover now. You know, there could have been a lot more like snappiness to it. Where after I was done watching Escape from New York, I popped on Escape from LA, and very quickly was like, this is what I'm talking about. This is a lot more energy, a lot more, and this like
Yeah.
they utilize Snake a lot more for more scenarios, more set pieces.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it wasn't bad. I was
They gave him a leather duster in that movie. That's pretty
I
badass.
think
Yeah.
I was expecting just a little more
Yeah.
or something.
Me too. It kind of just simmered
Yeah, that's
throughout
good.
the whole,
Good way
throughout
to
the
put
whole
it.
movie. Like it just it was like there was some parts where I was like, haha, like there was some like funny, like silly kind of action.
Mhm.
I mean the ending. Ending of New York. I was like, oh,
Well,
the payoff was good.
So
Yeah.
think about the scene when he first gets to the president. Spoiler alert. And he gets to the president and he sneaks up behind the guy inside this like train car, and the president like looks past guard number 1 and he
Mhm.
sees Snake sneaking up on guard number 2. He silently breaks the guard's neck, and then the guard number 2 is like, "What are you looking at?" And he turns around and he throws a dagger into the guy's forehead and kills him.
Yeah.
I was like, "That's pretty cool."
Oh, speaking of that scene of the guy getting a dagger
Mhm.
stuck in his forehead, did you find it funny how long he sat there surprised with the dagger in his forehead? He's like,
Yeah, same thing with the guy that got the bat full of nails to the back of his head.
he just sat there and he's like,
Oh yeah, the when they're in the boxing ring.
the fight
Yeah.
fight to the death. But that scene could have been a lot more tense, and it could have been a lot more exciting if there was maybe some better music, or pacing was a little bit better. It kind of just comes and goes, and you're like, well, okay, well, he's got the president now, cool, exciting,
Mhm.
I guess, you know. Maybe a little bit, but maybe a better editor could have done, or a better sound designer could have helped a little bit with the movie. But
Yeah.
they only had a $5 million budget.
this is a pretty good movie for $5 million.
That's low budget.
And well, yeah, and I only say $5 million is because they filmed in St. Louis, and,
Missouri? Obispo.
St. Louis.
St. Louis, Missouri.
Where's St. Louis at?
Missouri.
Philadelphia.
I think it's in
No, it's
Missouri.
St. Louis, Philadelphia.
Missouri.
Is it Missouri?
What a weird location. Why Missouri? Is it cheap to film out
Yeah,
there?
it was because it was cheap because
Yeah.
they spent a lot of their money
On the
filming
set.
that first shot in the movie at the Statue of Liberty. They were
Oh.
one of the first film companies to get permission to film
The Statue
at
of Liberty.
Statue of
Wow.
the Liberty at night, and so
At night. Oh, okay.
it took a lot of money out of there, and plus they actually used some city blocks in St. Louis, and they shut down power to whole blocks for a few hours to film scenes. So the reason I feel like one of the problems with this movie is that there was a lot of money to work with, but John Carpenter really wanted like authentic set pieces.
yeah.
The set was fantastic.
Yeah.
Every
yeah, set
time
design was good.
every time he's running through the streets, I kept looking at that block to see if it was like a duplicate of another block that I'd seen earlier in the movie, and
Mhm.
I didn't see any repeats.
Just like the
Yeah.
reverse or something.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it was really well. I mean, there's
Interiors
junk everywhere.
The
Yeah, there's like entire buildings where you can't fake the shot where they're running through empty hallways just full of junk and graffiti,
Yeah.
and you can see deep into the building. It's like a warehouse, and it's trash too. And it's like they really trashed an entire building to get that shot.
And what
Mhm.
was really amazing about this movie was the cinematographer Don Cheadle. No, that's not
Don
his
Cheadle.
name.
there was some really good
There's
shots in this movie.
so I can't remember the guy's name, but the he filming this movie, he acquired this like new lens that used the maximum light in shots in the dark, and that's why the feel of this movie is really gritty. And actually, I want to apologize to our audience out there. Is last week when I said that there was a lot of use of the color blue in this film, I was wrong. It was green that they utilized more. Oh, here we go. Don Cheadle. Dean Cundley.
Oh, good old Dean Cundy.
Cundy. Who else?
So he used.
Jurassic Park cinematographer, Apollo 13.
Oh, yeah.
Who Framed Roger Rabbit?
Honey, we Shrunk the Kids? Or Shrunk Ourselves?
Hold on a second. The Flintstones?
Oh.
Oh, wait. No. He acted in the Flintstones. Actor.
Oh.
He directed Honey, We Shrunk
Well,
Ourselves.
Oh, all right.
So he,
Look at him.
yeah, he had a trick up his sleeve with this movie. He used a new lens that was new technology at a time where it maximized the light in a dark setting, and that's why you get a lot of these really good
Like
use
a really
of
high
shadows,
speed lens.
and you get a lot of like good lighting.
It was a treat on the eyes.
Yeah.
The whole time. It was really.
And
it
There
really
was a
fun,
lot of
fun to watch.
There was a lot of I mean, you see this a lot with like older movies and Tarantino movies. You see it with a lot, the wide anamorphic
Yes.
lens, and you see like the lights. The light is like a horizontal line, and there's a flare.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's
yeah.
what that's I was gonna bring that up as well, was the use of like really wide shots was very effective because it was almost like a painting.
It was like
rather than
they wanted to show off the set,
yeah,
the set design.
yeah. So it was one of the plus the acting and writing is really minimal. Like there's not a whole lot of exposition. It's just a very just like boom, boom, boom. Like here we go.
I'm gonna say something controversial right now. Best actor in the movie, Ernest Borgnine.
Ernest Borgnine.
He was the cab driver.
Oh, I loved Cabby.
Yeah.
Cabby is
He's good.
I have a theory about Cabby. I'm pretty sure he got forgotten when Manhattan turned into a prison island, and he was just a cab driver before that, and he was just driving, and he's like, "Oh my God, we're a prison island now. I got to get out of here." No, you stay in here. Your name is Cabby now.
My last 30 fares have all been criminals. That's weird.
I always thought that was like in my head canon is he got forgotten on Manhattan.
This movie was it reminded me of a lot of other movies. Well, a lot of movies that came out after.
Yeah.
Like Demolition Man, Running Man,
Johnny Mnemonic.
Yeah, Johnny Mnemonic, Blade Runner.
Well, it's funny that you mentioned Blade Runner because they reused the miniatures of Escape from New York on Blade Runner.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
Also takes place in New York. And then it also reminded me of, you ever guys play the Batman games, the Arkham?
Yes.
It reminded me of Arkham City.
Oh, okay.
Because it's like a prison city.
City, yeah.
Prison city.
Yeah. Really what it is.
I
Escape from New York with Batman.
Yeah.
I wish there was more. My favorite part of Snake's character was that he was just a sarcastic dickhead like all the time and completely contrarian.
Yeah.
So we played this drop a couple times already, but the first intro to Snake talking to his superior, the guy who's hiring him to do this mission, the guy says a bunch of stuff. Hey, we're gonna send you to New York. You gotta get this. Be back in 24 hours. And he says, "What do you think about that, Pliskin?"
Call me Snake.
That's all he has to say. Like, don't call me Pliskin, call me Snake. And he keeps saying it over and over again.
Call me Snake.
And the whole movie happens, and he spoiler alert, he gets the president out of there, and the leader of the operation, the government guy, comes to him and he says this.
We'd make one hell of a team, Snake.
The name's Pliskin.
He's just a contrarian for the sake of being a contrarian.
Well, to that guy specifically.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, the gruff Larry David.
Yeah, he doesn't want anything to do with the government.
No.
Even though he's a war hero supposedly, but he even says at the beginning of the movie when he meets the guy.
You gonna kill me now, Snake?
I'm too tired.
That's the end of the movie.
Maybe later.
But he threatens to kill him at the beginning.
When I get back, I'm gonna kill you.
And then at the end, when he asks him, "You gonna kill me now?" He basically says, "Too tired." It was so funny. His dialogue was ridiculous. I loved his dialogue.
And I don't think anyone else could have done that except for Kurt Russell.
He's so
like,
gruff, like comically gruff too.
Yeah, it was just the perfect. This movie is just the perfect combination of, I guess you would call it campiness, but it's done so well that like I don't think it's like a B movie kind of thing. Like I can watch this movie and I'm legitimately entertained by this movie.
Yeah.
Like it's a really, I mean, one of the shots that actually really makes it for me is when Snake goes into the cockpit of the glider when he's going into the prison island.
Oh yeah.
That use of greens on his face and like
Right, yeah.
That was just
the
like
grid of the display reflecting black back at him.
yeah, man, like that just sucked me in so much. I was just like that. I'm in this. Like it's not bad. Like it's not traditionally bad. I mean, yeah, the plot is ridiculous. Like everything about
I don't think it's a bad movie.
The plot's not that weird.
the crime rate has risen 400%.
Yeah.
The setup's really cheesy and everything like that, but
It's cheesy, but it's effective for
No, it
what the
works.
plot is.
Yeah.
It's like it's kind of in the vein of Judge Dredd or Demolition Man or something.
yeah,
like that, you know?
exactly.
It's like
Just like
something.
that.
Well, I mean,
ultra
I think
ridiculous.
of Running Man because they use a prisoner, Arnold Schwarzenegger,
Yeah.
for this show, and it takes place in this post-apocalyptic world. Even though it's like a semi-post-apocalyptic world because it's obviously still
It's like-
game shows.
It's like an extreme
Yeah.
version of capitalistic society.
Yeah, and he's given. I mean, it's a different context because it's a game show, so he's
Yeah.
given the task to go do the Running Man challenge.
But it's still essentially the same thing with
Yeah.
like it being like this is what's happening, this is what you have to do. It's like a very basic setup.
yeah,
So yeah, I think Escape from New York, not only having John Carpenter's like directing like prowess on this film, along with Kurt Russell and the other characters, Isaac Hayes was good in this. His car,
Isaac Hayes was the what's his name?
the Duke,
The Duke. Yeah.
and his
ridiculous Cadillac.
yeah, with the chandeliers on the hood. Yeah.
And like it was like rainbow reflective paint job on it. You could barely see.
Oh yeah. There,
I mean, he does play a big role in it, but I feel like he's not in it that much until like the last, I don't know.
but that's
third of
what
the
the thing
movie.
though is he's in it just enough. Like it's like they could have just shoehorned him in to just try to be
Yeah.
like an important character when he really wasn't, but he was only in it enough to where he's like, okay, I'm gonna use the president for this like revolution.
Yeah.
But like that wasn't the point of the movie. The point of the movie was rescuing the president. So
Yeah.
like I think really what could have been taken out of the movie was the fight scene between Snake and that big burly dude.
that was great.
Really?
That was great. That was like Thunderdome.
I liked it just visually, but for plot wise, it probably
I wanted more. I wanted more of that. Give me like 4 fight scenes.
A new
with Snake.
challenger has arrived.
Yeah. I wanted him to work his way up to that guy.
Yeah.
It was
Yeah.
way better than the equivalent scene in Escape from LA where he's basically has to make 10 points on a
It
goddamn
turns into Space Jam.
basketball
Oh,
court.
yeah.
You're like,
I
all
love
right.
Escape from LA is the exact same
It's pretty much a
movie.
Yeah.
Yeah, it is the exact same movie
Except for he surfs a tsunami wave
into the sewers of LA.
Yeah, through the sewers of LA, and then jumps onto the back of Steve Buscemi's '59 Cadillac, which is totally when we watched that afterwards. I was like, oh, they jumped the shark here,
Yeah.
which is very appropriate because in the phrase "jump the shark" came from Happy Days when the Fonzie actually surfed over and jumped over a shark while he was
Literally
surfing.
jumped over a shark.
Yeah, but that was the moment that the Snake Plissken jumped the shark.
Yeah, and that they didn't make another movie after that though, and so it was
Oh,
kind
they-
of good. It was just
There's
like,
no other major cities.
so they have
Escape from Singapore.
Escape from Seattle,
Escape from
Galt.
Escape from
Escape from
St. Louis,
Escape from-
Missouri.
Escape from Denver.
Yeah. Escape from Leadville, Colorado. 2 mile high elevation.
Escape
Everyone's just
from-
tired all the time.
Delaware.
I should say about Escape from New York, though, the reason why this movie holds such a special place in my heart is I think I was privileged. I was privileged to see this movie for the first time on VHS on like a really old TV, like how it should have been seen. And when I first saw that movie, it was mind blowing. Like I was like, holy shit!
Really?
Yeah. It was one of the first VHS films I had purchased on my own.
You seeked it out on VHS?
Did you seek it
was-
out, or
no,
was it
I
just
didn't-
happen chance?
I didn't seek it out. It was recommended to me by one of my friends. They were like, "Oh, have you ever
okay.
seen Escape from New York?" And at the time, I was just like, "Oh, I'm really into VHSs. I'm just gonna buy this."
I'm a kid in the 90s. I'm
Yeah.
really into VHSs.
Yeah.
Everybody was into VHSs.
You a dullard? Fooled me.
I have a similar.
I think I was really so. I think it's more nostalgic for me to say this is one of my favorite movies rather than it being like an actual quality movie because I saw it in like a
It's a place and time for you.
Yeah, it was place and time
Yeah.
for sure. But after watching it this time around, though, I was thinking like, this is actually a legitimately good movie, and I was curious to see like what other people thought of like, do you think this is like one of those like good bad movies, or is this actually a good movie for you? Because I thought it was a good movie. Like I thought it was.
I don't think it's a good bad movie. I don't think it's a bad movie.
Yeah.
Yeah.
For me, it would kind of falls a little flat
Fizzled a little.
in the terms of, I guess, enjoyment or the entertainment value, because I was just like comparing it to like Total Recall, Running Man.
Total Recall is nonstop. There's like something so many set pieces is happening all the time. But I imagine the budget for that was probably 3 to 4 times what this one was.
Well, and
too.
this movie every scene feels very deliberate. It doesn't feel like, fluffy. Like it's like every scene that Snake is in, they're accomplishing something. There's not. It's not just like for the sake of being, actiony. So I can see how that could be a fizzly kind of movie because every scene they're just trying to make a point to the next plot rather than,
I think
for the sake of being actiony.
I think my reaction to after the movie was over was like the general audience reaction to when they saw Drive in theaters based on the trailers of Drive, because they thought it was going to be Fast and Furious with Ryan Gosling.
Yeah.
And it was not that at all. that's what I'm comparing my reaction to.
It was
this
two people
movie.
staring at each other in the hallway.
I can see that.
Because like from Escape from New York, Kurt Russell with an eye patch.
Yeah.
And it seems very action heavy and very campy 80s.
Yeah.
And it is campy 80s, but it's not like Highlander.
Extreme.
It's not Predator, it's not Commando or something.
Should have been Steven Seagal playing Snake.
Oh God. Then we wouldn't be having this conversation.
It's funny. When I was watching it, there was one specific shot of Snake in the movie that was like, if they were to remake this movie or this series, I could see Kit Harington playing Snake Plissken.
Really?
Yeah, dude. Yeah, that's a good pull.
I could see it.
He's
got the same kind of physique.
He's
True.
not super tall.
He's got the look.
Yeah. He's got the
But
hair.
does he have the hair?
He's got the hair, dude.
Yeah.
Jon Snow just needs to feather it a little bit.
I think, you know what? I can see that. I can see that as well. I hope they don't remake the exact plot of Escape from New York, though. I would like it if it was, it could be still like placed in New York and stuff like that. But if it was like more of like a
They need to make it
remake, not
Escape
like
from
a
Tokyo.
or something. I don't know. Like
Escape from New York, Tokyo,
Escape from South America.
The
or
whole
something.
continent.
Yeah, the whole continent.
Escape from Madagascar. That's an island.
Escape from North America.
Escape from Alaska, starring The Thing.
Starring 1997.
And then we have Snake. It could be Snake. Snake Plissken is in it still. He's the dad, and it's Cobra or something. Or Garden Snake Plissken.
I mean, there's something you can do there because as long as you have talented people working on it to where like it can be like a seamless movie that doesn't feel like a drag, it could work. But like the only reason why Escape from New York and Escape from LA was so effective is because of the people that were involved. You know, it wasn't. There was really good actors. There was good writers. It was, I mean, Escape from LA. The shots were a little kind of. They were on the edge of being bad in some
Escape
of the
from
shots.
LA was using the most advanced 10-year-old CGI technology that was available to them at the time.
The surfing of the waves reminded me of the beginning of Die Another Day. James Bond movie.
Yeah,
That's how the movie starts. They come in on waves.
Mm-hmm.
There was you missed.
I thought you were gonna say surf Nazis must die, and I was like, oh yeah.
Joseph came in late when I was watching that here, and you missed the best part of his submarine entrance into LA.
Mhm.
Oh my gosh!
Apparently, Breckenmeyer is in the beginning.
He's one of the surfer kids.
Yeah.
Exciting.
Escape from New York. What do you guys give this? What's your guys' rating?
I'd probably give this right down the middle, 2.5 stars for me. It was I recognize as the movie. If I were to just pick it up and play it, that would be where I'd set it.
Mm-hmm.
But the influence it had to other action movies that followed it, I think, was a little bit more significant.
Yeah.
There was shades of other movies that I enjoyed a lot more that came out later, like Joseph was saying.
Mm-hmm.
And, there has to be something there that came from that. I think Snake himself was such a fun character. The movie overall just died a tiny bit for me.
Yeah.
I enjoyed it, but I didn't love it. So 2.5.
What about you, Joseph?
There's
There's only one correct answer.
2.5. I think I gave the last movie 2.5 too. No, it wasn't Idiocracy. You didn't even know which one you were playing, Tyler.
That was me saying boo.
Oh.
You a dollar?
Yeah, but just because it does, I feel like the movie didn't match Snake, like what Snake looked like.
I get that.
I feel like I was because of the over the top
Mhm.
intense action hero that Snake is.
And he doesn't do like crazy actiony stuff.
No, there's not a lot of crazy stuff. I mean, I was watching Escape from LA, and they were hang gliding. I guess Steve Buscemi.
Leather dusters and Steve Buscemi.
Yeah, so Escape from LA is like kind of the movie that I was expecting,
Right.
and from Escape from New York,
Yeah.
just based on the cover, the title, the premise. It's that's what I was expecting, and I didn't get it. But not to say, I mean, the ending of the movie was totally worth it too, because like he gives him the tape, and it's the jazz tape from the cab, and as he's
Badass.
walking away, it's like he's walking away from
That was cool.
from an explosion, but
Mhm.
it's a jazz tape.
Yeah.
And he's pulling the tape.
And he's
So
destroying it.
I
yeah.
forgot. I did want to talk about that.
Okay.
I alluded
yeah.
to it earlier.
Yeah, he did.
So in this futuristic setting, 1997,
Mm-hmm.
we are to believe that the president of the United States is the only person who's capable of coming up with the idea of nuclear fission. Okay, number one, we have to believe that. Number two, we have to believe that he told no one about it, wrote it down nowhere, and he only put it on a cassette tape. He didn't write a document and like fax it. At that time, they had faxes, or teletype or whatever the hell was
Telegraph.
Telegraph. It was nowhere else. They're like, we have to save the president. I have to get that tape. That's the only copy of this tape. It seems a little like too perfect that they need to get this one cassette. I feel like a little bit of more writing could have been done there.
Yeah. Well, there's a lot that was cut from this movie too. I mean,
really?
it was already an hour and 36-minute movie. They definitely could have put in more. And actually, they came out with a novelization of the book about
Of the
a
movie?
year or two later. Yeah,
Okay.
that explains some of the other context between Snake and his handler.
So is it like the Star Wars
Harry Dean
books?
Stanton.
Yeah, pretty much.
Just gives you more context.
Yeah, it does,
Okay.
and it's pretty cool. I mean, it's a little bit tongue in cheek. It's not that well written,
There's some
but it's kind of cool. So you guys 2.5.
I-
What about you,
Two and a
Tyler?
half.
Yeah. What do you give Tyler?
I give it a 3.
Okay.
3?
Yeah, 3.
Is it a trip down nostalgia lane for you?
Yeah, 3, but that's because I'm very biased towards this movie.
You did put it on the wheel.
You said it was your favorite action movie ever. It's a 3.
Of the 80s. Favorite
okay.
action movie of the 80s. Second,
There's a lot of action movies. That's
well, I know because
your favorite?
Predator is my number 2, and it, depending on the day and how much
IPAs I've had.
how many IPAs I've had, Predator is either number 1 or Escape from New York. It's those interchange
Okay.
very much.
I don't think you can call a movie your favorite of anything if it's under 4 stars.
That I don't know. I disagree. I disagree with that one.
You're drunk.
Come on, Tyler.
I think
You think you're so goddamn high and mighty?
I think that you can have a favorite movie that's not that good.
That's true.
So
That's
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 what I'm
interesting.
thinking. Like I can recognize that it's not an amazing
I like borders on
movie.
guilty pleasure.
I guess so.
But
That's
would-
exactly a guilty pleasure.
But you wouldn't consider this movie a guilty pleasure.
No.
Like I'm embarrassed to tell people I like this movie.
No,
a lot.
I wear that proudly on my sleeve.
My favorite movie is Spice World.
Yeah, I'm unashamed to admit that.
New York Minute with Dr. Drew and the Olsen twins.
Oh my god.
Well, I have some things.
What are your final
Just some
thoughts?
little quick things that I wrote down. So the I don't know his name, but the guy who assigns Pliskin the role, the guy he says he's gonna kill at the end of the movie.
Yeah.
What is his character's
Oh,
name?
it's it starts with a
Well, anyway, so
Hawkins?
every time he came on screen,
Hawk.
I was like,
Yeah, Commander Hawk.
that's
Oh, that's what it is.
Larry David.
It's Lee Van Cleef.
Oh yeah, that's Lee Van Cleef. Okay, because every time I saw him, I was like, that's Larry David. And there's an episode, and he has a mustache. Though Larry David doesn't have a mustache, but there's an episode of Curb where Larry David is in a Martin Scorsese movie, and he has a mustache.
Does he look
And
exactly like
it
him?
almost looks exactly like him, but like I mean, this guy in the movie is a little like thicker and taller, I think, than Larry David.
Yeah.
So I just wrote down gruff Larry David.
Gruffly.
But this guy, that Commander Hawk, right? He also has an earring. He's like a little.
I know. I noticed that.
I
I
didn't
thought that
see
was.
that.
I thought that was a really weird thing to add to his characters to have that one earring.
In Escape from L.A., the equivalent version of that character is played by Stacy Keach, and he's like the heavy government official. And at his desk, after he gets done talking about how we're going to bring in Snake Plissken a second time, he's got a little cactus, and he just pulls out a squirt bottle and goes, and squirts his cactus, and then it cuts to the next scene. It's John Carpenter humor.
The fight scene in the boxing ring with the big guy. It reminded me of the Ace Ventura fight scene just because of the pants that Snake wears.
Oh, okay. And the injury that he had.
his leg injury.
Yeah.
The one with Tommy Davidson, where he
Yeah.
plays the White Devil.
Yeah. White devil. Kichiocha. You just say white devil. Leave that part out. The huge ass walkie-talkie.
Oh my god!
Oh yeah,
yes.
like the
He has to
comically
hold
long
2 hands.
antenna.
I know.
He's cradling the underside of it with his hand.
It looks like an animal like he's holding, like a giant beetle.
It's
This was 1997, folks.
It's 1981.
It was 1981, set in 97.
This is the technology they predicted.
Yeah. Having like 3-foot antennas.
And then the end of the movie, not the very end, when he's
on the bridge.
on the wall, fighting Duke,
Yeah.
and then he starts to go up the rope, and then the president stops the rope.
Yeah, he uses him as bait.
But I feel like there was no point to doing that because the rope wasn't going that fast,
Yeah, it was.
and then the president stops him, and then he shoots Duke, right?
So that's
was
the
just-
political agenda. The president just fucking all of us.
Yeah,
It was,
I
yeah,
guess.
it was.
I don't know.
that was just kind of a weird
just-
thing I saw.
I guess it was
noticed.
probably just more to create tension because it was the end of the movie. Like it was.
That was
kinda
the problem
keep you
with
on
the
the
movie.
edge.
That's the problem with the movie as a whole, though. For me, I didn't feel tension.
Yeah, the stakes were not super high.
The only stake.
Well, I mean,
the only
like Snake had the
the
thing,
the
the
nanobots.
explosives.
Yeah,
in
that
his
was
arteries.
Yeah, that was the only thing in the
That was
the
enough
movie.
for me.
But then I forgot about it. I forgot that he had that in his system until
Well,
the end
there
of the
was
movie.
there's like a good 45. So what they did in the beginning was he kept checking his watch like every so often.
Yeah.
Like it would be like an hour has passed or something, but then like 45 minutes in like the middle of the movie, he doesn't check his watch for like
He's got
at
bigger
all.
fish to fry. I think he feels like he's gonna die
Yeah.
there, so he doesn't really care.
Yeah, so I can understand that as well. Is like you kind of forget like that's his motivation because like for like a good chunk of the movie, he doesn't check his watch like to see how long he has to die.
I did appreciate how realistic the gunshots were that the president was shooting Isaac Hayes with.
Yeah.
Like he's shooting the gun off, and you could see the shells expelling out of the gun.
Yeah,
which doesn't always happen in action movies. You can see the shells flying out, and he's like, "Die! I'm the Duke. I'm the Duke. I'm #1." He's like mocking him as he kills him.
Yeah.
Oh,
and he sprays him with bullets, and the bullets going across Isaac Hayes' chest looks very real too.
Does.
I'm like, damn, that's pretty good.
That guy just murdered Isaac Hayes.
I don't know, how did he voice Chef so many years later?
I know. So
voice chef.
all right.
So
well,
that was Snake.
Escape. Yeah, that was Escape from New York, guys. Well, I mean, I'm glad you guys at least enjoyed yourselves watching it, unlike George of the Jungle.
How long have we been on this rock?
It's been an hour and 11 minutes we're in now.
Almost. Yeah. So
Let's wrap it up. Let's do some wheel.
let's get the wheel down.
All right.
So we
Wheel time.
we're getting rid of the wild card section.
It'll still be a wild card, but
It's a little different
the
now
rules are changing
because it's been kind of loosey goosey.
yeah.
Because it's just been kind of extra slots for
But
us.
now we got it settled. We got it on lock.
Because there's an even number of slots,
8
but an
slots.
odd number of us.
Yeah.
So eight slots, 3 of us. So we have 2 picks each, and then there's 2 extra ones.
Two people are having extra slot.
Yeah. So it's still gonna be kind of like that, but instead of just a random,
Just an extra choice. It'll be
a
like a MacGuffin. It'll be a fake title.
yeah. So it'll be a mystery spot.
We're J.J. Abramings this shit.
So Tyler, this was Tyler's wild card pick,
Yes.
Escape from New York, and that's off. Now Joseph has one, and now I'm gonna have a wild card. Joseph's is gonna remain what it is until it lands on it.
Yeah.
But my wild card pick right now is one we're gonna put on the wheel for everyone to see and hear. It's going to be Justin Bieber's "Never Say Never."
Justin Bieber.
Yeah, Justin Beliebers.
Justin Bieber.
So obviously that's not a movie that any of us want to see or watch.
God.
So that's going to be on the wheel for my wild card pick. And I know what the real choice is, and none of you in this room or listening will know either.
Yeah. So the concept is that it's a fake title.
It's like a surprise choice.
Yeah. So the real movie is hidden underneath.
Yes.
Yeah.
And I know it, and I have it written down in my phone.
And it will not be unveiled until it lands on
Until it
Justin
lands on-
Bieber.
Yeah,
Never Say
Yeah,
Never.
Justice
Which I have
Bieber's-
seen, by the way.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
It was
Wow,
painful.
that's crazy.
So I'm going to recap.
That's a dog
Nova.
in the
lay
room.
down. Thank you. Lay down. You've been so
yeah.
good this whole time.
Now,
Thank you.
Thank you, Nova. Okay, so I'm going to recap everything that's on the wheel. We have Space Jam from Tyler, Hereditary by Tyler.
Ooh, I forgot about that.
We have Return to Oz, my pick. They Look Like People, my pick. And Justin Bieber's Never Say Never, my wildcard pick. Okay. And
That's for Justin Bieber. Never
yeah,
Say
yeah. Justin. So, and then Joseph has his picks of The Machinist and Dunkirk, and his wild card pick is A Place Beyond the Pines, which will actually be watched by us if it lands on it. All right, let's get a running spin going. Dial this wheel in. All right, and here we go.
Oh,
Here
Come
it comes.
on.
Here it comes. It's a good spin this time.
Ooh,
spin.
I can see it.
oh,
Hereditary.
Hereditary. Back-to-back Tyler movies. Now,
Damn.
Hereditary is a haunting movie.
Oh yeah, so for our listeners, for our listeners out there who've never seen Hereditary before, this is a really gut-wrenching movie. So prepare yourself. Please watch this at nighttime, in the middle of the night.
There's I have to warn everyone, if you are not good with gore or
Family drama.
parts of bodies being removed
Or elderly nudity.
in very like spectacular fashion, you may need to prepare for this, because the first time I saw this, there's one specific scene that if you've seen the movie, you know what it is. My reaction was like this.
Oh, don't be such a...
Nope, not that one.
That would be my reaction to our audience. Don't be such an old bitch.
It was
No!
it was very guttural reaction. So it's tough. It's a tough movie to.
Cool. Yeah, Hereditary. I feel like it gets a lot of hate too, unnecessarily, and
What kind of hate?
well, a lot of people don't think it's scary. And I think it's
There's a couple scary, like traditionally scary parts in it, but it's more tense and
more atmospheric.
agonizing. Yeah.
It's a more
Yeah.
atmospheric, and it hinges the horror hinges on the actor's ability rather than the subject matter.
Toni Collette is
She should have gotten an
a
Oscar.
revelation.
She should have gotten an Oscar for that movie, to be honest. Like she
plays
portrayed.
the whole range of emotion in that movie.
So listeners, please watch Hereditary and
Follow along with us next week.
Yeah, tune in next episode.
So until next time, send us an email. Oh, you know what? Can we go out real quick for this music?
Hold on, turn that back down. I'm not done.
We've promised, and I just remembered this. We've promised that if you send us an email, we will read it on air.
Oh, okay.
And we had another email this week. We're
Surprise.
three for
Surprise.
3 weeks in a row.
God.
So we got this email from a listener, Chris. Sent it to our email, mcfcpodcast@gmail.com.
Oh, baby.
And it says, hi, dudes. Found your podcast and thought you'd like to review the movie Society.
Oh, Society.
It's weird, so it should be right
We
up your
live
alley.
in a society.
Thanks, Chris.
Society is crazy.
Thanks,
gross.
Chris, for emailing us.
Thanks,
Yeah.
Chris.
And it's streaming on Amazon Prime right now.
Mm-hmm.
So I think
Oh,
I'll
alright.
give this a watch, and we'll talk about it next episode.
yeah, we'll
It's good.
Is it?
It's very it's good.
I have no idea what it's about.
Yeah, I've
Could-
never heard of it.
I didn't read the
Really?
I didn't read
Yeah.
the plot
I thought you
synopsis,
can-
so don't spoil it for me. I'm
Wait,
gonna watch
maybe.
it blind.
No.
It's very funny,
Is it?
but it's also
It looked like kind of like a horror scary movie.
it's
Gamers rise up.
yeah. Well, yeah, just watch it.
Okay.
It's good. All right.
So
Right, so-
in the meantime, for next week, send us an email at mcfcpodcast@gmail.com. Follow us on Facebook, facebook.com/mcfcpodcast. And go over to Instagram and follow Tyler on Instagram, on our Instagram page, at Middle Class Film Class.
So thanks for stopping by, listening, wherever you are. Tune in next week to watch Hereditary with
Oh, boy.
us and listen.
Should be very exciting.
So thank you guys for coming. And,
Thanks,
we'll
everyone.
see you guys next week.
See you.